Hey, what is going on, everybody? How are you all doing today? Hope you all having an excellent, wonderful day today, and if not, hopefully you all will have a better tomorrow. So today I want us to discuss Hazel, and you know, for one, just discussing about why he may be working with Salem, but for another, just kind of describing his character and talking about it for just a brief moment to get a summary and understanding of why he may be working with Salem. So without further ado, sit back, relax, and let's get on with it. Now, as we know, Hazel himself, he's a very different character to be working on the side of Salem. So interestingly enough, as we know from, Hazel, because first we're going to get into describing him and talking about him, his character and what we know, even though it's very little, but let's jump into this. So, Hazel himself, he seems to have a calm demeanor, very calm, composed, characteristic uh, to other members of Salem's faction, because everybody that works for Salem, they seem to be very psychotic and very deranged within their, points of view, considering that Salem herself, she wants to destroy and divide humanity and in them all, just kill them all off for her own misdeeds, for her own reasons. And it seems very interesting to see that Hazel himself, which he also seems like the brute force of the group, he seems like the one that would be strong arming everybody else. Now, of course, if you look at the other characters, Tyrion himself, he seems like the kind of guy that would go out there and not necessarily strategically go out and kill someone, but he seems like, the guy that would go out there and just be the assassin or the one that would do the job within the regards of, hey, look, this is the work I have to do is to kill somebody, nothing else. He doesn't seem like the kind of reasoning or negotiating type, and he seems like he would go out there and just kill whoever he needed to if Salem said, hey, you need to kill a certain individual. Now, on the other hand, if we actually look at Watts himself, he, as we know, is actually a doctor. He is the one that actually comes up with mechanical, things apparently from what has been told. So there's not a whole lot of known about a lot of these characters realistically. But from Hazel, he's different. He doesn't seem sadistic in any way or form. He doesn't seem like he likes to kill. And it's very interesting to actually think about because if this is his character, he has to have an actual reason why he's fighting against Ozpin. He wouldn't just be fighting against Ozpin, in which he does know him because Ozpin states himself to Oscar after, being reincarnated within Oscar. He states that, be weary of that man, because, he knows who he is, and he says that he knows him. He says that Hazel knows Ozpin, so to, be weary of him. And that's actually very interesting because that means that obviously he's against Ozpin for some certain reason. But the thing is, if we look at it also, something that's very interesting that goes along his character, Hazel doesn't seem to care about killing people, and we saw this with Sienna Khan, and he seems to have, he seemed to be very courteous towards her, and he showed that he had a respectful nature, but he wasn't intimidated by her, so it shows that he's not afraid. But at the same time, he was very sympathetic towards her death, which is very interesting as well because when she was killed, he asked Adam, why did you do this? And out of any of the members that is a part of Salem's faction, nobody else would have had remorse. Nobody else would have been like, "Oh, I'm sorry you died," and sincerely mean it. It would have been more of a sarcastic tone, like, "Oh, you died. I'm sorry." Because they don't care, and whatever it takes to get what they want, that's what they're going to do. So, this leads you to kind of wonder then, what is the reason that Hazel could possibly want to go after Ozpin? Now, of course, there's a couple of things that could bring this up. Maybe in the past he worked with Ozpin before he joined Salem. And maybe there could have been something that Ozpin did, because as we know, Ozpin has hired a bunch of, hunters and huntresses that have been within his close circle to actually fight with him. Maybe in the past fighting Salem, maybe Hazel has experienced with Ozpin, maybe someone that he cared about died. Maybe his family died. Maybe a loved one died. Friends died even. Who knows? And that could actually cause some problems because maybe he was misguided by, Salem. Maybe, and that's a possibility. Maybe there was the fact that Salem sat over here and was like, hey, you know what, he did this on purpose. He killed these individuals, without even thinking about your concerns or so on and so forth, which could weigh heavy on his mind, which could turn him against Ozpin because she could have corrupted his mind into thinking, well, he did this on purpose. He did this to hurt you, and he did this to totally just make you, miserable. She could have warped his mind in that degree, and it could have made him see it that way. Because, unlike Salem, he seems to be respectful and courteous and kind. Now, Salem, on the other hand, maybe she could have also offered Hazel power. Maybe it had to be behind that. Maybe Hazel, was like, oh man, I don't have enough strength to save so and so. Maybe it could have been a certain reason like that. And she was like, well, I'll give you the power to do so and so, like whatever you need to help your desires. And that could have actually brought Hazel to believe that maybe this is the right idea to work with her for power or something to that degree. But then again, he could have at the very same time actually seen her destructive nature. He could have actually possibly seen the destruction that Salem has caused, and maybe he's been in fear of that power. Maybe he's not necessarily evil, but maybe he is in fear of Salem's power, and the only way to be able to stop it is, maybe he fears for his own life, and or fears for anyone that he cares about if he has anyone, and would rather fight on that side and to protect those individuals than to go up against this destructive force. But we don't know a whole lot about him, so all we can do is discuss, speculate, and go upon what we think about this character. And maybe Hazel's not the kind of guy we think he is. Maybe he actually is a good individual, but then again, at the same time, maybe he's a very evil individual, and we're just not seeing his true colors. But that's just something that's interesting to think about. But you let me all know, you all let me know, sorry, what you all think down below. I would like to hear your thoughts on this, and let's just discuss it and let's just talk about this a little bit. So, but thank you for watching the video. Thank you for taking your time out of the day to watch the video. And if you liked it, leave a like. It's very greatly appreciated. And subscribe if you want to see more content like this, and share this with your friends if you found this very useful. But anyways, you all have yourselves a wonderful day. Take care of yourselves. And remember, if today wasn't a good day, tomorrow could always be better. Take care, everybody.